So, in our search for better opportunities, better leadership positions, better career opportunities, we always tend to stack up those degrees, those certifications, those that experience. But what if we factor in an essential and important added element or factor, which is your thinking, and in particular the wealth mindset or the wealth thinking. How is this going to impact your career and the opportunities you might be receiving? Now I brought you the lady who is going to tell you a ton, lots. She's got lots of things about how your thinking is affecting what you are getting in your career. Let's go. And good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing today? My name is Dr. Nebila Dhieb, and I'm super excited to host this episode of the Quantum Leadership Hacks, episode 117. Today, we are exploring a topic that touches every part of our life. It has to do with wealth, money, abundance. It's all that fun stuff that is affecting every part in our life but doesn't get nearly enough attention. How well thinking affects our career. I'm your host, Dr. Nebila Dhieb, and I'm thrilled to have you here, and I'm thrilled to have a special guest with us today. Joining me is Emma Louise Wright, a wealth empowerment coach whose work centers on helping individuals reshape their relationship with money and use it as a tool for overall success and personal empowerment. You can already see I am super excited to have Emma on this podcast. Emma, to you. Hello, hello.
Oh, hello. Thank you. What a beautiful introduction. It's amazing to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We are so excited to have you with us today. So let's not waste time. And without any further ado, I'm so excited to talk. I mean, it's the first time, to be honest, to have a wealth empowerment coach. Let's start from there. What does a wealth empowerment coach does? What do you do, and what do you offer for people?
That's a really great question because I used to be a derivatives trader, stock market trader, a chartered financial planner. So I've got a really big history of working within the so-called wealth industry, and a lot of people came to me. I decided to leave the wealth industry and form my own company back in 2021. I founded my first wealth coaching company because I decided that, from all of my years of experience, money and our physical attachment to money and the relationship that we have with money has nothing to do with wealth. And the more that I was doing in this industry, the more that I was managing lots of money, multi-million pounds of money for clients, I could see that it wasn't making them any happier. And I got really curious about kind of like the positive impacts of wealth. And I really wanted to do things differently. I didn't want to be selling products anymore. I really genuinely wanted to empower more people to have more wealth. And in 2020, I discovered coaching, and I thought I was going to reinvent the wheel when it came to wealth. I thought, how do they not know about coaching in this industry? We're selling products, but we aren't getting to know people, their desires, their dreams, the intention behind what they actually physically do with money. And I realized that I wanted to help empower more people to be wealthy, people that didn't necessarily yet have money. didn't yet necessarily yet have the level of abundance that I would see. And so I decided that I wanted to quit being a wealth manager and to do things my own way and to start teaching people how to invest with all of my years of experience. And I did that, and I started to teach people how to invest. And it became very, very clear to me that the more that people came to me for strategy and to learn how to do things with money, the more I realized that actually wealth is nothing to do with physical assets. It has nothing to do with the money itself. Your wealth is everything to do with you, how you feel about yourself on the inside, your vibration, your energy, your abundance, your lifestyle, your time, your health. It's everything to do with well-being. The actual word wealth comes from the old English word weller, which is well-being. It has nothing to do with money, but we have such a big attachment to money being wealth, and how much we earn, how much we make, what we do with it, that we actually end up not dealing with the biggest asset that we have, which is ourselves. And so I've been redefining the word wealth and what wealth means, and that's how I became known as a little bit of a rebel when it comes to wealth.
Right. That is so powerful, Emma. So wealth or wealth thinking isn't just about the dollars sitting in your bank account. It's about literally like reshaping how you view abundance, how you view whether things exist in your life or do not exist. It's actually touching every aspect of life, right? So I can see how this approach like could drastically affect literally everything. Let's talk about even the way you look at wealth coming from your career, for example. So for sure this aspect is also affected by how big or how, I don't know. So tell us a little bit about the difference, so to speak, between that you saw with your clients and so on, the difference between wealth mindset and scarcity
That's a
mindset.
really great question, and that underpins everything I do. People come to me because they want to know what they should be doing with the money they've made, or how they can start investing. And the biggest thing that they need to work on is actually how they feel about money and your mindset. If we think about how the mind works, because I'm such a science nerd when it comes to wealth, it's scientific as well. This is not just kind of a nice to have. This is real scientific research that shows us how our brain works and how it can really dictate how we behave in our job, in our career, outside of it, everything. It impacts every aspect of your life. The mind is primal. It's designed to be fear-based. It's designed to look for one thing, and that's looking for threats, because its primal instinct is to keep you safe. So we go through life, we're massively conditioned through years and years and years, millions of years, to be a mind-led society. So your mind is looking for threats and rewards, but primarily threats, in order to keep you safe. And so therefore we go and get a job to keep us safe. We go and do things. We go and get a house because it wants to keep us safe. That's a reward. But then also it's looking for threats constantly. And the way that the mind works is it forms beliefs. From the age of 6, we start to form beliefs. And these are unconscious thoughts that we lock away in the back of our mind that we don't even know we're having. And then it forms off the back of those thoughts and beliefs. It then starts to act out based on the threats or the rewards that it's observed. And depending on your mindset, if you believe, I am wealthy, I am, and those I am statements are really powerful. If you believe I am wealthy, I am abundant, I can do anything, I can achieve whatever I want, then you will go on to be extremely successful, because you'll form the habits that are, again, a part of your unconscious autopilot. And I call this your wealth cycle. But if you grew up and you early on had, experiences with money, with time, with your energy, with yourself, because all of these things are going to impact your wealth mindset. If you come from a place of lack and you believe, I am not wealthy, I am bad with money, I am bad at numbers, I cannot have what that person has, I am never going to experience wealth. All of these things that we don't know that we're having these thoughts. These are part of our brain that we're not observing. It's in that part of your brain that is hardwired, and it's the parts that create the feeling, the stress, the anxiety, the fear that we then embody into our entire being. And so we go through life thinking anxiety is okay. That means that I really care. Anxiety is not okay. We've been conditioned to think it is. So we go through life going after things based on fear. And if we are in fear, we are in a really low vibrational energy. If you go after anything with fear, a new client in your career, a new opportunity, you're trying to climb the ladder, constantly going after it with fear within you, eventually you're going to burn out. Eventually you're going to start showing signs of disease, because this impacts your actual body as well. Because every time we go into a fight, flight, freeze response, because that is what happens when your body detects a threat, and you go on and do the action that supports the fact that you are avoiding that threat, and your body releases chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline. This then locks that wealth trauma in your body, and then you start to show signs of inflammation. You might have arthritis showing up. You show physical symptoms, and anxiety is a really early stage. If you are stressed out and going after things and feeling really exhausted and tired, and you can't sleep, you're working at 3 a.m., those are real physical symptoms that your wealth is not optimal. And it's physical, it's real. And so that is why your mindset and that wealth cycle of what you believe, what your habits are, those autopilot responses, and then how you feel is really going to impact your overall wealth, and how you attract or don't attract. Because if you're chasing after something and in fear, you're constantly pushing things really away. When you switch things around and you really notice, and this is why coaching is so powerful, because when people listen to you, they reflect back the unconscious. They reflect back things that you don't realize you're saying. It's really powerful. It's like someone's holding up a mirror into the back of your mind, and you can see those I am statements that you don't realize that you're having because they're in your subconscious. It's like someone's listening to you and holding that mirror up for the first time in your life. You can see where all of those beliefs are coming from, and you can see what's really going on within your primal instincts and within that cycle, and you can start to observe. And over time, when you do that, you can start to change the habits consciously. You start to raise your consciousness. You start to realize, okay, if I try to think differently and I consciously start to think differently, you can rewire your brain. It can, it takes time to create new neurological pathways. It takes real commitment, but it is really powerful. What that does is, over time, you are increasing your wealth. You are increasing your vibration. You're moving less in from fear into fearlessness, and moving more into a higher vibration. When you vibrate, and this is quantum, and that's why I love the fact that you're into quantum, quantum leaps. This is what the science is showing. The quantum physics is quantum entanglement. Your thoughts are creating physical reality somewhere in our universe, but in your actual physical reality, if you are coming from a place of fearlessness and you're doing things anyway, and you're creating new habits, and you're attracting because you're vibrating at a much higher frequency, those job opportunities will come in, the pay rise will come in. You believe, so your boss starts to realize that you want this thing. These things have been shown. It starts to sound a little bit like out of this world, but it's really true. Your thoughts become your reality. It's really powerful.
This is really, really is such a great point and powerful, because when people shift from the scarcity mindset as in I don't have, or I don't think this is possible for me, or I don't think that leadership position that's too high for me. And sometimes I challenge my clients into saying, "How do you know it's too high or too is 50,000 per month? Say no, too high." And I say, "How did you come up with this?" And it's a belief. So the shift from scarcity mindset to well, my says this is really amazing. But it sounds like when we approach this kind of work of moving from the scarcity mindset into the abundance mindset, there is a certain level of intentionality and deliberate creation, and being really focused on where I'm headed with this. Otherwise, it's not going to happen by itself. Or, there's a lot of work that needs to go in there. Would you agree?
100%. You need to own this journey. Nobody else is going to create it for you. You have to really want it, and you have to really commit, because you have to have wealth sovereignty. It's like your health. When people talk about being healthy and we want to go and fix something after our health is broken, take pills and then we'll be better. We are born already with the most amazing avatar. We need to look after this health of this body. Nobody else is going to prioritize you like you. And by the way, it's not selfish to look after yourself. And it's exactly the same with your wealth. And that intentionality is really profound, because often we go straight into wanting the having, the having of the money. What we are shifting when we're trying to focus on our wealth in this different way, in these different intentionalities, we're trying to be a certain wealthiness. We want to be wealthy in who we are right now. So, you said about scarcity mindset. If you say, I need to make £50,000, you're coming from a lack mentality, because you're saying, I need something. If you need something, you worry that you might not have it. We're told that we can't want and desire. If you just want to make this, the terminology you use in your mind is really powerful. And a lot of us believe, and this is one of the reasons why some people think, oh yeah, I do want to have an extra £50,000 in my paycheck. But if you believe at a really deep subconscious level that money is evil, money is control, money is only by, people with money are not nice people.
Mhm.
Unconsciously, again, you could avoid, without even knowing why you're avoiding going after that pay rise. It might be because deep down in your subconscious, you had a really big wound where someone in your family was really, really not nice with money. The more money they had, the more evil they came. And this is why your money story and your timeline is really powerful, to look back at your experiences that you had with money and with wealth, and with yourself. So these things are really, really important, because the language that you're using deep in that subconscious mind of yours will be really dictating your beingness. So when we shift that, we observe it and we try and create a different mindset, a different belief system, or we introduce more healthy beliefs. What we're doing is, over time, we're changing our beingness. And also, it's really important to think, I can be wealthy in this now moment. I want to embody the person that has that extra £50,000. What are they going to be being like in this moment? Because we can really embody it in the now. When we do that, we then also need to think about, what would that person be doing differently now? And we start doing things that are really wealthy. This does not mean you have to be doing something really extravagant with £50,000, right? We're not talking about having to go and spend lots of money. It could be that you just decide to, show up for your yoga practice every morning, because that's what I would be doing if I was doing wealthy things. Or it could be that I will show up and show up for my boss with that strategy and just be showing and demonstrating what I would want to be doing if I was in that role, in that abundant mindset of already doing the things that people want to be seeing. I did that on the trading floor years ago when I wanted to be a trader. I was showing up on the trading floor and solving all their problems. And I was showing them. And, so I was being on the floor. I was already there in my head. And then I was doing the things that they would be doing. And lo and behold, I got offered an opportunity. I got offered multiple opportunities in the end that a lot of people wouldn't have. Someone like me didn't get those opportunities. A girl growing up in England from Bradford, very, very low middle class, to being in London, being offered opportunities that usually only people that had scholarships or internships got. I went and got it because I just was being and doing. When you be and you do, the having just comes into your reality, because if we just focus on what we want to have, we're focusing too much on the physical rather than embodiment of what wealth actually is. And then the having does actually happen. It's physical. It comes in because the currency for energy in this world is money. So of course you're going to get rewarded if you are working on your wealth in this really holistic way.
I love, love, love. So you've taken us into different, connected areas regarding the wealth mindset. What strikes me here, I mean, we can, and perhaps even the title of this podcast, for this particular session, it's wealth thinking. But actually, thinking about it, I think it's about wealth feeling, because you can think, affirm, repeat that you are wealthy as much as you can and as you want, but as long as that part of you that is feeling, because the subconscious speaks, a vibration speaks. It doesn't speak English or Arabic. So if you are not feeling that being wealthy is a good thing, you can be sure that your subconscious mind is going to fight you all the way, and going to get you into self-sabotage, and it's not going to allow you to do things, and you want to force yourself into doing things in the wealth mindset, but actually deep inside you're gonna come back to your set limit or set point when it comes to wealth. So it's more of wealth feeling rather than wealth thinking, because would you, yeah, Emma?
100%. We're actually trying to get out of the mind, because the mind, as we've said, if we're thinking, if you are deciding, and this is really interesting, actually, I did a recent interview for my own podcast with someone about in Finland, the Finnish diplomats make their all their diplomatic decisions in sauna, because in sauna.
Wow.
And this is fascinating. I love little nuggets of knowledge like this to kind of show how we need to get out of our thinking mind when we are going to do anything and commit to anything. Because when we're thinking, oh,
Go ahead, Emma.
sorry,
I
love,
put
I
you on
lost you there.
stage. Go ahead, go ahead. No
When
worries. Go ahead. I'm here with you. I just
we're
wanted to be full blown on stage.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my love. When we're thinking, we are in that mind. We're in the mind. We're not. We're fear based. So if you are thinking about anything and you're trying to force it and think about it, actually you are, you are being led by fear, because your mind is fear based. So what we're trying to do is 100%, we're trying to drop into our body and drop into our feeling, into our heart and into our gut. Our gut should make decisions, and this is what the science is showing us, that actually a human being, we have so many things going on in our gut, enzymes and chemicals, that the gut is there to make decisions, and the heart is where we should be choosing things. And when we drop into our body, what we're allowing is for us to feel and sense what it is that we want to do. is that opportunity the one that I really want to go for? Is it my what my body and my heart wants, or am I just going after it because it's the next thing? Or do I want to go for that slightly sidestepped career move that's a bit more of a risk, but that is my heart? Oh, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, because when you start navigating your life and your career in a way that's getting out of that mind and you're dropping in, you are really stepping into a different part of your beingness and into your embodiment. And then you're embodying a different experience. Over time, your mind is going to have a total paddy, by the way, because it's got such conditioning to say, hello, I'm in charge. Why are you not listening to me? Why am I not thinking? But over time, your thinking mind will learn to trust your heart and your gut, right? It realized that over time, as you start making these really profound decisions and going and thinking and connecting to your body, and you start to do these things, and then you start to realize how positive it is, because you are vibing in this new job, in this new scary opportunity. You're advancing faster, you're getting paid better, you're around people that interest you even more. You don't realize what's going on. You look back and your mind is starting to trust your heart, and you then still use your mind for the things that it needs to do, which is to keep you safe, fundamentally and primal, and to lock in knowledge so you can lock in the things you need to learn, and that knowledge, rather than using it to think your way through your life, which is fear-based.
I love it. I love it so much. So, in actuality, for our many for the ladies, and for the entire audience who are our listeners in here and our audience in here, what this actually is boiling down to is that, and you are hearing it from the empowering empowerment coach, Emma, is that decisions. You talked about this is the first I did not know this information before, that diplomats take decisions from their sauna. That tells a lot. Like, what vibration would you be in your sauna place? Of course, it's so, being or looking at the practical side of things, Emma, would this mean, for example, that if I am taking decisions for my career and a lot get into, oh, I need to be reasonable, I need to be rational, I have to do this because blah blah blah, and I'm the main breadwinner, and I cannot take these erratic, they seem erratic and irrational decision, because they come from a place of, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I want to take that side step that is giving me the goosebumps. I want to take it, but I have kids going to school and the education fees are this, and I am doing this, and I have these commitments, and I have this loan, and I have da, da, da. So it's the rational. So the way we, the majority would go, it's about, I need to prepare myself financially before I take the move. And actually, what we seem to be suggesting is that if you can just drop from that place of having to prepare and calculate and count everything before you do the move, and just drop to a place of heart and follow that gut feeling, that instinct, that sixième sens, that sixth sense, or that intuition, that sometimes we say when you are praying, you are speaking to God, and when God's speaking to you through your intuition, then and some people say, yeah, but I'm willing, but show me some practical ways. So, Emma, my question for you, as we need to start wrapping up this call, what are some practical steps that people coming from a very seeing is believing background,
That is
myself
a really
included,
great question.
what are let's say 3 practical steps that people can begin doing to shift their mindset towards wealth, towards that heart place where decisions are easy and in flow and abundant and wealthy? 3 steps.
That's really, really good question, because I'd like help people to map it out, to map out their money and to create that financial freedom strategy, if you like, because this is all about wealth freedom and wealth sovereignty. So I do use very practical tools as well, because the mind does need to be involved. This is a journey. So one of the first things I do is we want to firstly step into that place of, well, what would I do if I was able to fully pivot, right? And it's going into that, I call it ikigai. Ikigai is the Japanese word for living a life of joy and purpose. Really exploring what you are good at, what you love, what the world needs, and what you are going to be paid for. And really exploring and asking really deep questions. Maybe asking yourself that in sauna, because in sauna, the temperature takes you to a higher step of consciousness, right? Or asking yourself when you've done yin yoga or meditation. This is why people do meditate and then journal. So the first step is, I think, spend some time getting curious about what you're good at, what you love. Because if you're good at something and you don't love it, it should really be something you consider changing over time. What does the world need and what will you get paid for? Because you can get confident then if you know that you're going to move into an area that really needs something that you're already good at. That really helps you shift. It could be that there's something that you love, but you're not yet feeling confident. And it could be that if you map out your finances, you have a spare surplus amount of money that you could invest in getting good at it before you move. You know, it's the way that you spend your time, energy, and money investing to build up your assets and getting that confidence and trialing things out, again, is a way of showing your mind that you are good at it. You're building your confidence. And then I would say the third part is that we don't have to just go completely cold turkey and go, right, I am literally quitting here and going here. You know, you could ask for a secondment. You could decide to try and do a little bit of a pivot. You could do a couple of days in different roles. You know, you could try something and move gently. Or you could create that financial plan. And I love to do that. I create financial strategy templates to really map out a period of time whereby you have money there in case you need to go back. And by the way, if you pivot, you can always go back and get old roles, right? Your job's not going redundant. You are just shifting and trying something new. So I would say those are the 3 things: to get really clear on what it is that you love, seeing where it is, then looking and seeing how you could invest to really build that confidence in a qualification, in practice and trying it out, or even just in the belief in yourself, you know, building up that power of you, and then creating that strategy, looking at your money, because, you know, we do want to see the impact, and seeing the impact as well. So one of the things is that you can do when you do that is you could, you know, map out, well, this is where I am. This is where, if I don't change, this is what's going to happen to my wealth. If I take this higher earnings path that is what I love and it's more money, this is what it's going to mean to my long-term wealth. From a physical perspective, that really, over time, when the more that you look at this plan, your mind's going to be going, I want that. I want that. I believe in that. So I think those are really 3 quite powerful steps to take, because you don't have to do it straight away. You're just investing some of your time, energy, and money into shifting into that different wealth frequency, right?
Right, I love it. So the idea is, yeah, well, going all in is also an option
Yeah.
for people who are in like a 9 to 5 or committed to a certain thing. It doesn't have to be a drastic move or something. The first thing that Emma and I are probably highlighting here is that you know your numbers, you know where you are, you know where you want to be. So you need to be clear at least about these 2 points, where you are right now and what's going to happen if you don't do anything, and then decide where you want to be, including your numbers. It's striking how many I meet every day, and I tell them, what's the goal, what do you want, how much do you want to be earning, and they say, I don't know, a lot of money. And I say, how much? A lot. And it's not clear. You see
Mm,
what I mean? So
yeah.
sometimes even from, and our upbringing has a lot to do with this. Is that I don't want to talk about money. I don't want to talk about this. It's the yeah. Don't tell anyone about how much you earn, your salary, and and all of these things. So we end up even avoiding these subjects even with ourselves. So very,
Especially
very
women.
striking.
The guys, no, the guys are down the pub boasting
The
about
guys
it,
know
right? Or
to
maybe
the
not down the
penny.
pub in the UAE. You know what I mean? But the guys do not have that kind of shame and that tabooness because it's macho. For us women, it's like, ooh, you're talking about money and how much you earn, and it can feel really judgmental.
Yeah.
Money, it's just money, it's just a currency, it's the energy
Yeah.
that we give it. If I call the amount that you want to earn your financial freedom number, how much you want to make to live your best life, that is an intention, that is something worth going after with all of your beingness, and knowing your numbers and then talking about that confidently. And you can start by just talking about it with someone that you feel really safe with until it becomes normal. That's why the people that you hang out with really matter. If you're around people that are going to shame you for having goals and intentions about being wealthy, then that's going to really slow you down. So again, maybe the fourth thing is to think about who you're hanging out with, and the energy that you're taking on, and the things that you're hearing, because it's really magical to be around people that inspire you to be wealthy, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We are the average of the five people around. And I think the first person we have to hang out with and talk in a very nice way and encouraging, empowering way is ourselves. So self talk is really, really, really important, that we befriend ourselves and that we are reconciliated and fine with where we are and happy with where we are going. This is so, so, so good, Emma. We've, oh my God, I mean, the notes we have in here are absolutely amazing. Emma, this is like getting towards the end of the show. Emma, where do people find you? Of course, we haven't even scratched the surface in this. For people who want to learn more about what you do and what you offer and so on, where would they find you?
Yeah, I have my own YouTube channel that I talk about these things all the time. The Wealth Rebel Show. It's on a podcast as well. I'm on Instagram at The Wealth Rebel, and I am on LinkedIn, doing my kind of sharing some of those things out across the world. Because, yeah, I just like to try and talk differently about wealth and have really interesting conversations with myself or with people in the industry, trying to really redefine how we do wealth every day.
I love it. I was so, so, so honored and to have you on the show. Thank you so much, Emma, for being here, for sharing your insights on wealth thinking. It's been such a thought provoking conversation for me, and I'm sure also for our listeners. Leave us your thoughts. I cannot see the comments right now, but definitely. So, Emma, the Wealth Rebel, that's where you find her. You type up that she's on LinkedIn, on Instagram. She has her YouTube channel and everything. So that's where you can find her. And if you want to know more about, the full breakdown for towards a transformation in your career results, then hashtag career and I can send you the full breakdown. It's a free masterclass, the full breakdown for the career transformation, including 80% of mindset and 20% of skill set. And if you want to know more about how this breakdown works, then hashtag career, and I will definitely DM you the link. That's it for today's episode, the quantum leadership hacks, episode 117. So much enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the conversation and want to learn more about how mindset can transform your career even further, do not forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And until next time, final words, Emma. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And until next time, stay empowered. Thank you, everyone, and good night. Bye bye.